All right, here we go. So I'm gonna take you through a little exercise that I do every time I want to start either a new project or if I find that I've been going off track a little bit with current goals, just to give myself a little bit of a reset. So a bit of a backstory with it. Earlier this year, I fractured my hand in late February, 29th of February, a day that shouldn't even exist. I broke my hand, which completely put my goals for the year out of whack. I had intended to do some more Spartan races. I wanted to compete in a couple of martial arts competitions and getting up and running with my osteopathy practice, um, starting up a new clinic. However, all of that got put on hold, and I spent the majority of the time sitting around, quite often feeling sorry for myself and trying to work out what I could best do with my time, which a lot of the time involved resting. And seeing as I hadn't taken a rest for approximately, well, I'm in my 11th year of practice now, and I haven't taken any significant time off within that time, maximum probably about 3 weeks. So this now being 4 months of time off is a big thing for me. So anyway, let's get going. So what I'm going to do, I've opened up a Word document. And I'm going to write out all the things that I want to accomplish by the end of the year. And then what I'm going to do is work backwards on how I am going to achieve them and where I'm going to structure them in my day to make sure they are achieved and how I'm going to measure them also. Let's just turn that on. Public charge, good. And I just realized that my video has gone. I don't know why. Um, Put that back on. There we go. Good. All right. So, um, what should we call this document? The rest of 2024. Suppose I could do all this after the rest of 2024, but that's me procrastinating. Anyway, so let's get this going. So, what am I going to achieve? First of all, I'm going to write down some goals that I would like to achieve by the end of the year. They're going to be a combination of um, fitness goals. They're going to be a combination of career goals and a combination of um, family and relationship goals. So I like to be selfish and start with me. So I'm going to start with my health. I find that the healthier I am, the better I can perform and the better I can serve my family um, and my community through my work. So I'm going to start with myself and get myself fit and active again. So uh, my fitness. And what does that look like for me? So I have a background in very high level martial arts. Um, I have performed at various international and world levels. I do like to keep myself fit time to time by doing obstacle course races. Spartan races have been a recent favorite after having done the rat races and Tough Mudders over the years. So what I'm doing now is I'm getting myself ready for a Spartan race, which I had to postpone from May. I've postponed it to October. So at this point in time, it gives me about 3 months to get ready for it. So Spartan race fit and martial arts tournament fit. So I've got a few criterias that I've achieved in my fitness lifetime, which kind of give me an idea that I'm relatively fitter than most people. And what they involve is a series of different exercises and abilities. So my ability to run a 5 kilometer and a 10 kilometer at varying times. I like to keep my 5 kilometers where I can to under 20 minutes. Fast for some, not fast for others. That's fine. This is my journey. And my 10 kilometers, I like to keep to under 45 minutes. So I'm going to be aiming for those. I have no idea what my current run time is. I literally have not done any running aside from jogging alongside my son when he's on his scooter, and he's currently 5.5. Very important half onto that. So no real pace with that. So I'm gonna have those in, and I will probably start with the 5 kilometer as it's the shortest distance. Now, with the Spartan races, you got to have good grip. There's a lot of climbing obstacles, a lot of carrying obstacles, rope climbs, pull-ups, monkey bars, that sort of thing. So grip is going to be a massive thing. Now, having broken my hand, my grip is now completely shot on my left hand. Um, so I am building that up from scratch again. So I'm going to put grip work on left hand. My right hand has suffered a little bit, so I'll just put right in there as well. And with that, what I would like to be able to do is approximately 20 pull-ups. Pull-ups with a weighted vest up to 30 kg. So I've got a weighted vest that I use that is approximately 30 kilograms. I want to be able to do 20 pull-ups with that weighted vest. I'm quite fortunate to have acquired a pull-up multi-station in my house. So I'm going to be using that on a daily basis. I don't know what I can do of it at the moment, but I'm going to be testing that later on today, and I'll keep you all updated with what that is. And then I will also like to do a series of leg works. So I'm probably going to put in squats, lunges, and deadlifts. And the deadlifts will also have, actually, I'm going to take that out. I'm going to do deadlift to squat to overhead press. Now, one thing that I did find quite challenging in the last Spartan race that I did was a particular carry where you had one of those Atlas stones, and you had to hold it on just a single-handed grip and carry it over like this slippery mud for a certain distance. And it was quite difficult holding the weight in between your legs whilst sort of waddling to try and get over it. So I'm going to practice that a little bit more this time as well. But what they also had was an Atlas carry, so you had to then pick up the entire stone and walk with it. So I think what I'll do is I'll do a deadlift into a front squat into an overhead press, and that will combine those maneuvers required. And I think I might just keep it to those for now for practice. And then what I'll do as I go along is I'll bolster that up with other things. So what is that going to look like? What that's going to look like is I'm going to start off with a 1 kilometer run and just see how I feel afterwards. If I'm tired or not, it doesn't matter. I'm only going to run maximum 1 kilometer, and I'm going to start that from tomorrow morning. And I'll see how I feel after that. I'll then give myself about 24 hours, because if any ligament injuries or things come up, they normally take about 24, 40 hours to swell up. And if that 1 kilometer felt fine, I'm going to then stretch it out to 1.5 kilometers. So it's 1 day break. And then if that 1.5 kilometers felt fine, I will then stretch that out after a 1 day break to 2 kilometers. You see where I'm going with this? And I'll just try and keep things neat and tidy. So let's do 1, 2, 3. Nice. And 1, 2, 3. Good. And 1, 2, 3. Lovely. Good. So I will carry this on. I'm gonna increase this to 1 day break once more. So as long as I feel fine at the end of each of those runs, I will then increase the distance. If I don't, I will maintain the distance. So you could ideally put even a question mark in between those as well. Good. Okay. So I'm going to focus on that for now. The 10 kilometer is going to come along after I've reached the 5 kilometers. So I'm not going to put a plan in place for that just yet. But for the grip work, what I'm going to try and do is first of all, I need to rehab the hand. Now, I've been doing this to some extent with some stretching exercises and some light grip work, but ultimately, what I want to be able to achieve is my body weight through the one hand. So, alongside my pull-up rack, I have a cable machine, and the cable machine goes up to 90 kilos, and I can increase it in increments of 5 kilos. I weigh currently about 72, so I'm going to try and get to the point where I can increase my lift to 70 kilos on the one arm as a seated row. And then I will actually, to be fair, once I can put 30 or 40 kilos, I'm going to go for 40 kilos. So 40 kilos, kgs, aim with seated row, cable, one-handed. Because if I can do 40 kgs in each hand, then in theory, I should be able to do one pull-up. So what I'm going to aim for is 40 kgs each hand, and I'm going to go for a bit controversial, 8 reps. So where do we start with that? So I'm going to go for 8 reps times 3. This is going to vary as time goes on, but we'll start with that as a point for now. This will add a little bit of endurance at the same time. So if 40 kgs is the aim, short term, I'm going to start with 5 kg. The key point in this is to make sure that I do not injure my hand whilst I'm rehabbing it. Because if I injure my hand, it's going to set me back again. So I'd rather start slow and work my way up slowly than try and go all guns blazing and damage my hand again. Okay. So this may sound really small, but essentially I don't load through my hand at the moment. So 5 kgs is a lot of weight to go through my hand starting off. Pulling motion isn't as bad as pushing. So I can pull much better than I can push. So the pull and the row position is going to be the best one to start off with. The overhead press is probably going to be the most challenging because that's going to require me to have the bar weight going above my head. So that's going to be a top-down pressure through my hand and wrist, which is going to be, I think, the most difficult to start off with. So 5 kg, I'm going to do 1 round, 8 reps. If that feels fine, I'm going to do another round of 8 reps. Why not increase it, you ask? Well, same again. I've got a combination of bony, ligamentous, cartilaginous, and muscular fatigue and atrophy and repair that have been going on in my hand. I'm not going to think 5 kg is great. Let's go for 10. That's literally a 100% increase. It might sound like a little gap, but it's functionally quite a big change. So we're going to go from 5 kg to 5 kg to another 5 kg. If at any point I feel pain whilst I'm doing this, I'm going to stop. I don't want to injure my hand. Okay, so this is going to be a very slow and steady process. So we're going to go for 8 reps. Right, and this is the times, well, yeah, 8 reps, 8 reps, 8 reps. I'm then going to leave it a couple of days. And as long as I've not felt any pain on that, I'm going to then try and increase it to 10. 8 reps. 8 reps. 8 reps. Again, if I try that 10 and it doesn't feel right, I'm letting it go and I'm going to go straight back down to 5. All right. That's a big jump to go from 5 kg to 10 kg straight away. I know what my body was capable of doing in the past. I need to see where it's happy starting off again. So I'm going to go nice and slow. The same thing is going to apply to the deadlift. So I'm going to start off with a dumbbell again of approximately 5 kg. I'm going to do that in both hands, which will simulate a 10 kg bar, and I'll just go through with the deadlift motion. I'm not going to worry about going from deadlift into squat just yet. I will just do the deadlift range from the 5 kg. Once I'm happy with that, after a couple of days, I will practice the movement of going from deadlift into front squat, just to feel the rotatory movement, because that'll be the first time that I get from a pull maneuver in the fingers into an extension position through the wrist and hand. So that's going to be, to be honest, I'm quite nervous of that positioning. Phone call. Uh, well, I have no idea where I was when I started off, when I paused the recording. So I'm just going to do a quick recap of what we got. The last thing that I was saying was moving from deadlift into front squat. So I'm going to start with two 5 kg dumbbells, as I know I'll be able to do that, having done it from the seated row. I'm going to maneuver them from the deadlift position into the front squat position and then straight back down. So that's all that's going to be. I'm not going to use the bar because that's going to restrict the movement slightly more. I just want to do it with dumbbells starting off, so I've got a little bit more freedom of movement in the wrist, as I know it is not fully, it's not up to full range just yet. So I'll maneuver that until it's comfortable, and then I'll move into the bar, which is going to be approximately 20 kilos. So I'm going to be aiming to be able to do the dumbbell position with 10 kg dumbbells. Two 10 kg dumbbells are going to equal a 20 kg bar. Done. Once I can maneuver that, I know that I can move the bar position from the front squat to an overhead press, and I'll continue on from there. My aim with this is, so let's just recap that into text. So deadlift to front squat, aiming for, I guess, aiming for 10 kg dumbbells, then transition into 20 kg bar. And from there with the bar, I can then start adding more weight and make it a more uniform movement. My aim with that afterwards is to be able to move it so that I can lift my active body weight above my head, which is normally around 85 kilos. So I'm going to put a deadlift, front squat, shoulder press aim of, so deadlift, aiming for 85 kg. And there we go. Those are going to be my maneuvers for, start that again. To summarize, what I'm aiming for is 85 kilograms of a deadlift into squat into overhead press, 20 close grip pull-ups with a 30 kg weighted vest, a 10 km run at 45 minutes pace, and a 5 km run at 20 minutes pace. And I'm going to be working on those over the next 2 months and see where I get to. Now, the next point is, how am I going to fit this into my day? So I'm going to line out what my days. So there's two ways you can do this, everyone. You can line out what your day currently looks like and then see about writing how you want it to look, or you can go straight into what you want it to look like. I used to write out what it looks like currently and then write what I want it to look like. But you end up wanting to write out what it looks like anyway, and you're obviously not happy with how it is because it's not working for you. Plain and simple. Sometimes you can try and mediate small differences on like what to change from what. Mm, do I like what I'm saying with that? Okay, so I'm going to put how I want my day to look, and then I'm going to work from where it is now to how I want it to look. I'm going to start with my Mondays. Monday through to Thursday looks fairly similar for me. Friday, well, actually, no, that's a lie. Monday, Wednesday, Thursday currently look quite similar for me. Um, Tuesday and Friday, I work in London, so they look slightly different. Friday, I work all day in London, and I don't have the need to take my son into school. Um, on Tuesday, I do still take my son into school and pick him up, but also travel to London in the interim. So the days I'm going to work on at the moment are Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, as those are my kind of in air quote work from home days. So what the aim is going to be for those is wake at 5 a.m. And once I've woken up, so let's just line this up quickly. Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. I want to point out to you all as well that um, this process, first of all, can be a little bit messy. I'm going to go through what my kind of sporadic thinking sometimes goes with, and then I'm going to highlight really key ways of doing it. I'm just doing this to get a bit of practice in talking on camera. I'm much better at talking people face to face, or screen to screen. But ad-libbing is a little bit more difficult for me at the moment. But in time, I will improve, I'm sure. So we're going to wake up at 5 a.m. and we're going to start with the run. Go straight onto the run. I'm going to return from run. So wash, eat, and then my son normally wakes around 6:15. So I want to try and get all of that done before 6:15. Now, my breakfast is very repetitive at the moment. It is 3 boiled eggs with I'm gonna have to measure out how much grams it is of cheese that I use, but essentially let's just say 10 grams of cheese. It's just for fun. And I have a lion's mane mushroom coffee with a dash of honey. Right, that's my breakfast every single morning. I eat the same thing. Okay. So son wakes up around 6:15. I'm then obviously with my partner taking care of my son up until I drop him off at school. Drop off school prox 8:39 dash 9:45. Um, sorry, 8:45, which then gets me back here for approximately 9:30. So I then don't have to leave to pick him up again. Sorry, let's write that down. So I'll be back home by 9:30. I then don't have to leave until about 2:20 to pick up. So that means I've got approximately 9:30 to 2:20. I say 9:45 really because of traffic. 9:45 a.m. to 2:20 p.m. to come back and get some solid work done. So what does that look like? Well, I've already done my run. That's good. I'm going to save the weights for the evening, so we'll come on to that later. Um, Now, my work is going to comprise of a couple of things. It's going to comprise of osteopathy, such as coaching, and those last between 30 to 45 minutes. And I'm aiming to fit in 5 of those, right? So I'm going to do some quick maths on a calculator because calculator is better than my brain. 45 times 5 is 225 minutes divided by 60 gives me 3.75 hours. Okay. So 3.75 hours taken with osteo maximum. Do I like how that looks? It's good to review it and reflect while you're writing it, okay? So that's a bit of a random number for me. 3.75 hours. Where can I save a bit of time with that? So my treatment sessions are half an hour. Be better if I had a clock on this, really. So let's say my first one was at 10, and it'd be 10. I want to give people to get in and out. So next one would be 10:45. 45 minutes after that would be 11:30. 45 minutes after that will be 12:15. So that's appointment 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. And the next one after that would be 1. And then that'd be 1:45. Finished. Okay, see what that looks like there. So 10, so that'd be 10 until 10:45, 10:45 to 11:30, 11:30 to 12:15, and then 12:15 to 1. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the 1 until 1:45. So that's five appointments, and within that time, I can see, yeah, so from 10 to 1:45. So that then gives me half an hour before I need to think about getting ready to go. Fine, so I can eat now. Lunch is then going to be from approximately 1:45 to 2:15, and then I'm going to leave at 2:20 to get sun. Fine. Lunch is going to be a combination of two things, either tuna, tuna tin, make it really easy, with some form of vegetable, and avocado would be perfect because it's very quick, and also a handful of tomatoes. Let's say times 1. So bringing in the nutrition a little bit here as well. Do I like how that looks? So wake up at 5 a.m. on Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Good. We're going to run up to 5 kilometers because we're going to keep that well inside the half an hour mark. So that means I'm going to be back essentially by 5:30, can wash, can make food. That's going to take me up to 6, and then my son's going to start to stir around then. Good, sorted. So 6:15 to approximately 8:30, I'm getting him ready and driving with him. Good. And then I'm back by around 9:30. So that gives me a sort of 30, 45 minute-ish time to be in the car on my own. So I want to try and make use of as much time as possible with with any part of the diary. So if I'm driving, there's not a lot I can do hands-on, but perhaps I could listen to a podcast or a some form of like educational recording. So I'm going to add that in as well. So on drive back, listen to current education. So that's going to be prox 30 mins. Nothing that's going to take my attention away from the road, of course, but will still give me some positive use of time. I don't like downtime. This is really what I'm trying to mitigate doing all this. So um fine, back to lunch. Tin of tuna, avocado, handful of tomatoes. Good. So I am then from 2:20 to approximately 2:50 driving again. So same again, I can listen to educational audio. So that gives me about an hour each day of educational content, which is good. I like to be learning at the same time. Fine. So that's Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday sorted. Now Tuesday's quite an easy. Well, actually, so let's just finish this off. So from 3 p.m. until he goes to bed, approximately 7. Never ends up being 7. More like 7:30. Um, and then bedtime reading. So we're looking at closer to 8 p.m. 3 till 8 p.m. with son. So are there any ways of encouraging activity for both of us? So that's going to be a combination of running around, education, bit of training with him, maybe some gardening. So we're very fortunate to have a nice garden that needs a lot of attention, and maybe some errands as well. Good. So I'm then going to assume that from roughly 8 p.m. until 10 p.m., I have a combination of eating. So let's get the food out of the way. So dinner, let's put that there. It's going to be a steak and may also then steak or chicken. Those are our two go-tos. And then that is going to be combined with Three Sisters mix, which I'll tell you more about another time. But essentially, it's a combination of different beans and pulses and lentils and things like that. And that may also be so Three Sisters mix. And then you've got pepper, broccoli, sweet potato. Okay, and then training, as described above in steps 3 and 4. So that is what I'm going to be focusing on. So steps 3 and 4 are going to be in the evening. Steps 1 and 2 are going to be the morning. Where are we? So that has covered my rough routine between Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Tuesday is slightly different, in that I work in London. So Tuesday is going to be more or less similar in the morning. So 5 a.m. run. Um, And then I'll also need to prep some lunch that day as well. Okay. So 5 a.m. run. In fact, I'm going to copy, 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 copy. I like a schedule. It keeps me accountable. It means that I don't need to think as much. I don't have to make decisions because I'm making a preconceived decision. When the alarm goes off, I know it's going off at 5 o'clock, and I'm going to get up and I'm going to get trainers on and run. Okay, that's it. I don't need to have an inkling of what else I'm going to do. I'm going to come back. I'm going to wash, and I'm going to put on my eggs to boil, and I'm going to put on my coffee to brew, and then I'm essentially going to wait for my son to wake up. That's what my morning looks like from 5 a.m. from the moment I wake up until roughly 6:15 when he wakes up. That's I don't need to think about that now. I don't have to wake up and go, oh, shall I have Cheerios or shall I have Weetabix? It doesn't matter. It's already set in stone. It's a much, much better way to be. We already have so many choices that we have to make on a day-to-day basis. And quite frankly, it's flooding you all with anxiety. So the more choices you can take away in your day with pre-planned decisions, the better off you're going to be. Because making decisions takes time, and quite frankly, none of you are very good at it. And I say that lovingly because you've not been taught how to make a decision. I am going to go into a bit more detail about how to make a decision in a future video. So look out for that. And it's one of those things where it's easy when you know how, but it's weighing up certain scenarios, what's going to be most beneficial, and what's going to be the least problematic. But as I said, I'll go over that in a video. So Tuesday, same again. Wake up at 5, run up to 5, wash, eat. Son wakes up, drop son at school. Right. So this is where it's going to change. So we've got this here. It's going to change. So that's going to now be roughly 9:45 already, actually. So we're going to keep that in. But it's going to be 9:45 until 2. Leave to get back. Good. I then go to a clinic in London where I run 30-minute sessions. And that gives me the ability to see. Hang on, I need to work this out quickly. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I could see approximately 8 people in that time. So approximately 8. And essentially that's going to be solid 4 hours. And it's purely osteopathy in that time. Don't need those time slots in that one because the time slots are half an hour sessions, so that's easy. Lunch, I will have now what should I do about lunch? Because I'm technically going to be traveling on lunch. So I'm going to need something. I'm going to make some form of fruit shake. And I'll have to make that in the morning to take with me. So let's take this out. And then instead of driving, I will then be on the tube. And the same again, I'm going to listen to the educational audio. 2:20 to pick up, drop off. Ah, see, this won't be home. This will be London. And I'll get tube. It's going to be approximately 45 minutes. So I've added an extra fruit shake here. Fruit shake for lunch. So I'm going to need to make that at some point, which means I need to make it probably here. Make fruit shake. And that is probably going to consist of a banana. Yes, a banana, a kiwi, and handful of blueberries with oat milk. That is likely to be approximately 1 pint. I think that's how much is in the blender. Good. So I'll make that. So that's going to be fruit shake for lunch, and then the evening is much the same, or afternoon, evening is much the same um with them after that. Okay, good. So what about Friday? So Friday, the morning is going to start off fairly similar up to here. Copy, paste. Friday, we normally have some form of chicken for dinner. Does that mean I want to change lunch? No, probably not. So lunch is going to be the same as this here. So I'm going to copy that. Lunch. Good. Friday. That's good. Lunch, tuna tin, avocado, handful of tomatoes. Yeah, that's all right. So, and then we've got travel to London. All day teaching. Lunch, the time doesn't really matter in this case, but I'm going to put it in anyway. It's going to be roughly 12:45 to 1. Oh no, wait. 12:40 to 1:40. And the all-day teaching is from 8:40 until, well, 8:30 really, until 4:30. And I'm going to add in travel time, listen to audio. Good. Return, listen to audio. And then I'm home roughly 6:30, let's say 6:15. By the time I've left and done that, yep, that's fine. 6:15 p.m. And then Friday is family time. So dinner, which is normally chicken with mixed veg. And then I do a podcast from 9 p.m. every Friday night. So that's what my week looks like. And within that, do I get time for training? Friday night is an off night for training. And because I don't have travel time on Saturday, maybe what I shall do is I will train. So Saturday, Sunday might be a little bit different. So Saturday, I think I will do my bigger run eventually. So I'm going to aim to run 5K every day, 10K on Saturdays, rest from running on Sunday, and see how that works. And we'll take it from there. Good. So that is part one. So in part one, what we've gone over is a very basic plan of what my fitness goals are over the next couple of months. They are mainly based around my Spartan race, as I'm not in a physical condition enough yet to test my contact sports. I will redo this once I get to that point. So once my hand can sustain impact again, I will then re-evaluate this with the intent of adding my training for my martial arts tournament. However, my martial arts tournament isn't going to be until December, and the Spartan race is until October. So if I get fit in that time up until October, I can then start with the impact again for the couple of months up until the fight. That's fine. I've then gone through what my day looks like. Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, as they're fairly similar. Tuesday, slightly different. Friday, completely different. And that's incorporated a combination of focusing on when I'm going to eat to stay healthy, when I'm going to train to improve my fitness. What I haven't put in here is my bedtime. My bedtime is usually around 10:30, 11. It is later on a Friday because the podcast, I don't really have a finishing time, but it will usually be around the 10:30, 11 mark. Saturday and Sunday, I'm going to leave open for now, and I'm going to appraise those over the next couple of weeks, and I'll keep you updated. In the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start posting my videos about how I've been improving the range of movement of my hand to get it back into a point where I can start using it again for strength training. I'm going to show you the stretches. I'm going to show you the um, tactile stuff that I've been doing, and I'm going to also then incorporate that into the strength training. Whatever barrier I hit, I will then demonstrate to you how I'm overcoming it. All right, there we go, everyone. See you next time.